When you think of supercharged icons, the Hellcat might come to mind. The Dodge engine that kept the Challenger and Charger relevant far longer than anyone expected. But this wasn't the first time an American car brand took a bold risk with a supercharged V8. Decades earlier, Studebaker, a struggling automaker on the brink of bankruptcy, did something extraordinary. Against all odds, they built their own performance supercharged engine, bringing forth the original Hellcat of its time. Today, let's take a journey back to the 1960s to uncover the Studebaker Super Lark R2, a rare and forgotten legend. Studebaker was once a dominant force in the American automotive industry, but by the 1960s, they were barely holding on. Competing with Ford, GM, and Chrysler, Studebaker faced severe financial struggles, high labor costs, low sales, and a serious shortage of new ideas. After a failed merger with Packard in the 50s, things looked bleak. They couldn't afford the flashy new designs the Big Three were producing. Then, a glimmer of hope appeared in the form of a compact car, the Studebaker Lark. Studebaker assembled the Lark from parts of their older models. It was affordable, unique, and exactly what they needed at the time. The Lark outsold the Ford Falcon and Chevy Corvair in the market, and for a moment, it saved Studebaker. They even turned a profit. But instead of reinvesting that profit into new models, Studebaker branched out, purchasing non-automotive brands to stabilize their income. This strategy, while well-intentioned, shifted their focus away from cars. In the early 1960s, Studebaker's board of directors decided it was time to refocus on cars. They appointed a new CEO, Sherwood Egbert, a man with big ideas, but little experience in the auto industry. Egbert's mission was clear: revive the brand with new designs and high-performance cars aimed at attracting younger buyers. Egbert understood the importance of excitement in a car brand. He quickly set plans in motion to redesign the Lark and create a flagship performance model, the Avanti. This sleek, fast sports car would be a beacon of hope for Studebaker, marking a new chapter for the company. But the Lark II was slated for a performance upgrade. To make it happen, Egbert decided to leverage a recent acquisition, a power tool company that, more importantly, produced superchargers. This acquisition made supercharging more affordable for Studebaker, and Egbert wasted no time in putting it to use. Studebaker launched the Super Lark R1 and R2, both powered by their innovative supercharged V8 engines. The R1 featured a naturally aspirated engine, producing 240 horsepower, but the R2 was the real powerhouse, with its supercharged engine cranking out 290 horsepower, an impressive feat for the early 60s. The Super Lark was a high-performance compact with some remarkable engineering for its time. In fact, it was one of the first American cars to offer front disc brakes, providing better stopping power and handling than many of its competitors. And with options like adjustable shocks, stiffer springs, and a limited-slip rear differential, this was no ordinary Lark. It was a high-speed machine capable of holding its own against some of the fastest cars of its era. This wasn't just for show. The R2 Super Lark could back up its looks. With a 0 to 60 time just over 7 seconds and a top speed of around 130 miles per hour, this car was fast, even by today's standards. And in the early 1960s, that was enough to put it in the same league as cars like the Corvette. But it didn't come cheap. With all the performance upgrades, the Super Lark cost about $3,700, nearly the same as a standard Corvette. While the Hellcat is known today for its incredible value, Studebaker struggled to find buyers willing to pay Corvette prices for a compact car with a supercharger. The sales just weren't enough to keep Studebaker afloat. Despite the Super Lark's remarkable qualities, it couldn't save Studebaker. The company closed its US plants and moved production to Canada, but even that was just a temporary fix. By 1966, Studebaker ceased all car production, leaving behind a legacy that most people soon forgot. Today, finding a Super Lark in pristine condition is like finding a unicorn. Parts are scarce, and the few cars that remain are highly prized by collectors and enthusiasts of classic American cars. The Super Lark may not be recorded in history as a sales success, but it left an indelible mark. Studebaker's experiment with supercharging was a bold move that paved the way for future high-performance cars, the Hellcat. In other words, the Hellcat's DNA can be traced back to the Studebaker Super Lark, a car made by a company on the brink of destruction, with nothing left to lose. Both Dodge and Studebaker faced challenges with aging platforms and needed something to remain relevant. Dodge had the resources to turn the Hellcat into a global sensation. Meanwhile, Studebaker created a unique American classic with limited resources. The very fact that the Super Lark existed is a testament to Studebaker's innovation and bold spirit. The story of the Super Lark serves as a reminder of the risks that can shape automotive legends. Studebaker may have been on the verge of collapse, but it wasn't afraid to keep pushing forward. By creating a car like the Super Lark, they showed us that innovation isn't just about having deep pockets. It's about having the courage to take risks when the odds are against you. Decades later, Dodge embraced that same spirit with the Hellcat, proving that the pursuit of speed and power is a timeless quest in American car culture. The Studebaker Super Lark may not be recorded in the history books as a bestseller, but it left a legacy that still resonates with enthusiasts even today. Every time a Hellcat roars to life with its supercharged V8 engine, you can almost hear the echoes of that same fearless attitude that once powered the Super Lark. If you have a story about the Super Lark, or perhaps you've seen it in person, let's hear it in the comments below. These cars are relics from a bygone era, a symbol of a brand that, against all odds, dared to dream big. And as always, if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth stories about automotive history. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Restoring American Icons.